Business storytelling. As you travel along the road toward entrepreneurship, you will talk about your business to many different people in many different situations. Sometimes it will be a formal business pitch. Other times it will be a casual conversation. Either way, it's good to know how to talk about your business and to have a story in mind. Stories leave a lasting impression, especially when they connect and draw emotion or inspire action. When it comes to your business, your stakeholders, and your customers, all of these are important. In this session, we'll learn the art of business storytelling with a focus on your pitch, your presence, and your promotion. You'll learn the difference between a brand story, a founder story, and a customer story, as well as how to use storytelling to attract investment, customers, and employees. You'll also learn how to pitch and distribute your stories to others. And we'll conclude with a storytelling framework that you can use across all your marketing and communications. Here's what you can expect from today's session. Today's topics include introduction to business storytelling, including what is business storytelling, types of business stories, storytelling and business outcomes, and storytelling for your business. Next, we'll talk about understanding your audience. We'll walk through elements of a great story, and we'll figure out the right story for your purpose. We'll give you some tips for visual storytelling. We'll talk about how to deliver your story, and we'll go over distributing business stories across different channels. Then we'll wrap up this session with a list of top 10 do's and don'ts. Let's start by breaking down what business storytelling is and why it's such a powerful tool for entrepreneurs. Introduction to business storytelling. If you think of your favorite product or service, there's a good chance you first encountered it because of a story. It could have been a story about the product's founder or a customer testimonial. It could have been an advertisement or social media post that told you a story. Maybe you saw something on local or national news that inspired you to purchase a product or service. The point is, we are all connected to people, products, and services because of stories. Stories are what we remember best, and telling a good story, even if it's short, creates a better experience for people who are hearing you talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it. As entrepreneurs, we have the chance to tell our business story all the time. You tell a story not just when you're talking to an investor, but also when you're recruiting employees, motivating your staff, and selling to a potential customer. You even tell your story when you are asked about what you do by a friend or relative or someone you don't know. Think about your business in the context of the issues we discuss and the questions that are raised throughout this session. At the end, you can include them in our storytelling framework to get started on your business story. What is business storytelling? Business storytelling is the art of using narrative techniques like character development, dialogue, and description to communicate a business's values, mission, and vision in a way that resonates or makes an impression with stakeholders, including customers, employees, partners, and investors. Unlike traditional marketing, which often focuses on features and benefits, storytelling engages emotion and creates connection, making the message more impactful and memorable. Types of business stories. Let's discuss a few common types of stories businesses might use for a variety of purposes. We'll start with a brand story. A brand story explains the essence of your business, who you are, what you stand for, and why you exist. It's a story that communicates your brand's mission, vision, and values. Here's an example. A well-known health supplement business might tell the story of how it was founded on the belief that everyone is an athlete, that everyone deserves the same access to nutrition as elite athletes, and that its product makes this possible. The story explains the business's core values and mission in a way that is inspiring to potential customers and investors. Next is the founder or business owner story. This is a story that gets personal. Since this is a story about you, the entrepreneur, a founder story highlights the journey of the person or people who started the business, focusing on the challenges faced, the inspiration behind the business, and the lessons you've learned along the way. It humanizes the brand and makes it more relatable. For example, The founder of a food business might share the story of how their cherished recipe by their great-grandmother was passed down from generations and across the world to bring a new and joyful culinary experience to the market. You could highlight a customer story. A customer story showcases how your product or service made a positive impact on a customer's life or business. These stories often include testimonials and case studies that highlight real-world results. Let's say you're a personal trainer. You might ask a client to share a story of how working with you not only helped them get stronger and in better health, but also helped them connect and build the confidence to participate in a new activity with friends and family. The story of transformation could reach a new customer who identifies with this customer's story. And lastly, you could create an explainer story. An explainer story simplifies complex concepts or processes in your business so that your customer can easily navigate your product or service. It's designed to both educate and inform your audience in an engaging way, often answering common questions or addressing pain points. Example: a financial advising firm might create an explainer video that tells a story of how their investment strategy works, making it easy for potential clients to understand the benefits. These are just a few examples of common business story types. Though there are many other examples of business storytelling, these can get you started in brainstorming the kinds of stories that you might want to tell about your business. Storytelling and business outcomes. The impact of storytelling on business outcomes is twofold. First, stories engage customers and they build connection through emotions. Second, engaged audiences who feel connected are more likely to take action, whether that's sharing your content, making a purchase, or signing up for your newsletter. Let's look at Coca-Cola as an example. Coca-Cola frequently employs storytelling to evoke feelings of happiness, friendship, connection. One of their famous campaigns, Share a Coke, involved personalizing Coke bottles with popular names, encouraging consumers to find bottles with their names or the names of their friends and family. This campaign was accompanied by advertisement showcasing joyful moments of people sharing a Coke together. By tapping into personal connections and shared experiences, Coca-Cola created an emotional appeal that resonated with consumers. The campaign led to a significant increase in sales and social media engagement as consumers began to share photos of their personalized bottles and their stories. This storytelling strategy effectively strengthened Coca-Cola's brand presence and fostered a sense of community among consumers. The type of business story you choose to create for your business may differ depending on your particular objective for that story. You may have more than one story if you have multiple objectives. For example, you might create a customer story to encourage more customers to try your product or service and share their own story as a part of your fall marketing plan. You might also create a founder story to engage new investors or partners for your spring fundraiser. Storytelling for your business. As you begin to consider how to best utilize stories for your business, think about a business you admire. Identify which type of story or combination of stories, brand, founder, customer, or explainer, is most compelling for that business. Why is that story meaningful to you? Now think of your business. What type of story would you like to create for your business, and what outcomes do you hope to achieve? Understanding your audience. Identifying your target audience. Now that you've learned the types of stories, it's important to think about your intended audience. Hint, you are not your audience. Your story's effectiveness largely depends on how well it resonates with your audience. That starts with understanding their needs, challenges, and motivations. Once you identify those three characteristics, you can begin to craft a story that resonates. For example, if your business targets young parents, you might focus on highlighting the fact that your product is innovative and saves time. However, if your audience is older adults, you might focus on the ease of use and reliability. Both are characteristics that are helpful in a product, yet they resonate differently with specific audiences. Let's get specific and ask the following questions. What are the demographics, age, gender, location, etc., of your target audience? Understanding these basic demographic factors help in crafting a story that appeals to a specific group. For instance, a story that resonates with Gen Z, born in 1997 to 2013, may not work as well with baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964. What are your audience's psychographics? Interests, values, lifestyle, etc. This is about going a little bit deeper. Your audience's psychographics allow you to align your story with their beliefs and preferences. For example, a brand that promotes sustainability will want to focus on audiences that value environmental responsibility. What's your audience's behavior segment? Buying behavior, brand loyalty, etc. Analyzing how your audience interacts with your brand, whether they are a first-time buyer, loyal customer, or lapsed user, can inform you on how to structure your narrative. For example, a fitness business that is trying to attract members might segment its audience into categories such as beginners, fitness enthusiasts, and professional athletes, tailoring stories to each group's level of experience and goals. MOBI's marketing session includes information about market research and identifying and learning about your target audience. Elements of a great story. Now that you've learned about the types of stories and how to identify your target audience, it's time to define the pieces of the story that will help make it complete and ultimately call people to act, purchase, hire you, donate, etc. This is also known as a call to action. It's a good idea to begin by creating a story outline and framework. Just like other stories, your story should include a main character, conflict, and most importantly, an emotional connection that feels authentic to your audience. It's also important to keep your story simple and straightforward. Don't overcomplicate your story or you risk losing your audience. The pieces of your story might include the following elements: hook, rising action, climax, falling action, and conclusion. Let's discuss each of these elements and talk through an example. The story framework in business storytelling. Almost every story starts and ends with a person. That's how we connect the dots to our audience. So, from the beginning of this brainstorm, think about the main character of your story. Who is it? What is unique about them? How do they resonate with your audiences? Let's walk through an example of how you might use this framework to tell a customer story about your handmade jewelry business. Hook or open. Introduce your jewelry business by emphasizing the personal and emotional connection people have to jewelry, inspired by a family heirloom, special moments, or a love of fashion. Rising action. Discuss the common challenges potential customers face in finding jewelry that feels personal and unique, highlighting your one-of-a-kind philosophy and pieces. Climax. Present the business, your own jewelry, as a solution where each handcrafted piece reflects customers' individuality and with custom designs like bracelets or nature-inspired earrings. Falling action. Illustrate the positive impact of jewelry through a customer story or testimonial, where a piece crafted with personal significance brought joy and created cherished memories. Conclusion. Wrap up by reinforcing the idea that jewelry is not just an accessory, but a personal statement, inviting your audience to engage with your business to create or discover jewelry that truly represents its wearer. Authenticity and emotional connection. Authenticity is one of the most important elements of business storytelling. In an era where information is at our fingertips, we are constantly being flooded with noise. Consumers are increasingly becoming more skeptical of traditional advertising, and this is why authenticity is more important than ever. You want to make sure that the story connects with your audience's emotions and has an authentic through line, a central theme running throughout the narrative. An authentic story is one that is truthful, transparent, and reflective of your brand's core values. Authentic stories not only build trust with your audience, but also show that your brand is genuine and cares about more than just making a profit. Stories that evoke emotion are both memorable and impactful. They can create a deeper connection, and that connection drives loyalty, word-of-mouth marketing, and engagement. In essence, your audience can become a megaphone for your brand. There are several ways to build authentic and emotional connection, including reliability. Create stories that allow your audience to see themselves in them. The more audiences relate to characters or situations, the more likely they are to feel connected. Vulnerability. Don't be afraid to show vulnerability in your stories. Sharing struggles, challenges, and sometimes imperfect moments can make your brand even more relatable and human. Inspiration. Stories that inspire can leave a lasting impression. Highlighting stories of triumph, innovation, positive change, and collective impact can motivate your audience to take action. This is a key to telling your story. Defining your messages and purpose. Before crafting your story, it's really important to identify your key messages and your purpose. What are your key messages? Identifying your key messages will help you ensure that your story elements support your key ideas and goals. It's a good idea to have 3 to 5 key messages for any activity. For example, you might have one key message that's about your business or your brand, a key message that is consistent for any activities you do. You might have another key message that's about your vision or your mission. And you might have a few key messages about the particular subject matter of this story. For example, if Nike were creating a story to promote a new pickleball shoe, there would be a key message about Nike the brand, a key message about how Nike inspires action with its Just Do It campaign, and then there might be a key message about the rise in pickleball popularity, a key message about the ways the new shoe supports the particular movements pickleball requires, and a key message about comfort or design. What is your story's purpose? The story you create will depend on its purpose. Are you creating for a pitch, a concise story about your business idea, or collaborating for potential investors, clients, partners, or employees? Are you building your presence either online or through other marketing channels? Are you supporting promotional activities such as advertising campaigns or media opportunities through public relations? The story you create depends on its purpose. Defining the purpose will help you define a theme. The theme is the foundation of your story, and it should be included in the core message you want to convey. For example, a theme could be innovation, community, or sustainability. Let's talk about choosing the right story for your purpose, starting with your pitch. When you tell people about your business, it can be very helpful to have a pitch ready to go. People often talk about 2 kinds of pitches, an elevator pitch and a business pitch. An elevator pitch and a business pitch serve similar purposes, but they differ in length, depth, and context. Either pitch could be a good match for a founder story, a customer story, or an explainer story. Here's how they compare. Elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is typically very brief, usually lasting about 30 seconds to 1 minute. The idea is to convey your message quickly and succinctly, as if you were in an elevator with someone and had only a short amount of time to make an impression. It focuses on the core idea of your business, your unique value proposition, and a quick overview of what you do. It aims to spark interest and prompt further conversation. Elevator pitches are used in informal settings, networking events, or initial meetings where you have limited time to capture someone's attention. Business pitch. A business pitch is usually more detailed and can last several minutes to even a half an hour or more, depending on the audience and purpose. It allows a comprehensive explanation of your business idea. It covers multiple elements, including business concept, target market, financial overview, operational plan, and future goals. It's designed to provide a thorough understanding of your business and can be used to attract investors, partners, or customers. The business pitch is often the formal presentation of a business plan. Business pitches are often presented in a formal setting, such as meetings with potential investors, at a pitch competition, or during business presentations. While both pitches aim to communicate the essence of a business, an elevator pitch is a quick, attention-grabbing summary meant for initial interactions, while a business pitch provides a deeper exploration of the business model and strategy for more engaged audiences. Now let's talk about your presence as the purpose for your business story. As you pursue marketing efforts, whether traditional like logo, signage, uniforms, business cards, etc., or digital like your website, social media, review sites, etc., you will be building your business presence and your brand. When it comes to building your presence, you want to be sure that your stories all relate to your business's mission and values. In this way, stories are cohesive and they fit together. Since you will be building your presence across many different channels and platforms, you can choose a variety of story types depending on how and where you will distribute them. Founder, brand, customer, and explainer stories can all contribute to your market presence. For example, you may use a founder or brand story on your website, a customer story for social media activities, or in a success stories section of your website, and an explainer story for a blog post, case studies, brochures, or white papers. White papers are reports that provide an explanation of a product, solution, technology, or process. Finally, let's talk about promoting your business through storytelling. While there is an overlap between your presence and your promotion, you can think of promotion as the proactive advertising, media-focused, public relations and PR, and social media activities you create and distribute. Again, several types of stories work for these activities. For example, customer stories can be very powerful for advertising campaigns and media relations activities because they bring proof points and credibility to your product or solution. Brand and founder stories are also very common in promotional activities. Explainer stories can work well for contributed articles, blogs, case studies, or media interviews. You might create a newsletter that features a variety of story types in every issue. As you can see, there is a lot of overlap when it comes to the type of story and the purpose. When you develop your stories, ensure each one of them is designed for its particular purpose and audience. Tips for visual storytelling. The power of visual storytelling. Oftentimes, the best way to share your story is through visual storytelling. Whether through photos, video, or graphics, your audience can begin to associate your story with your brand. Not only that, but visuals can enhance your narrative, making it more engaging and memorable. Visuals are a powerful tool for enhancing your story. They evoke emotion, clarify complex ideas, and make your story more engaging. People are more likely to remember information presented visually than through text alone. Let's discuss some ways you can tell your story visually. Video. Videos like the one you're watching can bring your story to life, allowing you to showcase your brand in action. This could include product demonstrations, customer testimonials, and/or behind-the-scenes footage. Incorporating music, sound effects, and voiceover can also enhance your video. Images. High-quality images reinforce your story's message and make it more relatable. Use images that reflect your brand's identity and the emotions you want to evoke. Design elements. Design elements like color schemes, typography, and layouts can enhance the overall aesthetic of your story, making it more appealing and easier to follow. Best practices for using video. Let's discuss some best practices for using video for your business. Keep it concise. Attention spans are short, so keep your videos concise and to the point. Focus on delivering your key messages within the first few seconds to hook your audience. Show and tell. Ensure your video has a clear beginning, middle, and end. Even short videos should follow this narrative structure to maintain engagement. Use authentic content. Generally speaking, avoid overly staged or scripted content. Authentic behind-the-scenes footage or customer testimonials often resonate more with audiences. Clear audio. If your video has audio, make sure the audio is clear with no background noise and that the volume level is appropriate. If your audience can't hear it, they'll keep moving. Captions. Speaking of audio, did you know that many people watch videos without audio? This is why including captions can increase your engagement. In addition, it makes your video more accessible to anyone in your audience who is hard of hearing. Best practices for using images and design. Here are some of the best practices for using images and design for your business. Consistency is key. Ensure all elements are consistent with your brand's identity. This includes color schemes, fonts, and overall style. Use high-quality images. Always use high-resolution images that are clear and professional. Poor quality visuals can detract from your story's credibility. Incorporate infographics. Infographics can be a great way to present data or complex information in a visually appealing and easy to understand format. Delivering your story. Testing your story. Now that you've put together your story, it's important to test it. Don't assume your story will resonate and achieve the desired goals just because you find it compelling. Remember, you are not your audience. Identify key stakeholders to review your story and provide honest, constructive feedback. It might feel frustrating to take the time and resources for story testing, but the cost of poorly received stories will likely have a greater impact on your business. Ways to deliver your story. When you are comfortable with the results of story testing, where should you deliver it? There are many ways, including in-person presentations, online platforms, and multimedia platforms. Let's look at each more closely. In-person presentations. When telling your story in person, such as a meeting or an event, it's important to engage with your audience directly. Use eye contact, gestures, and movement to keep your audience involved. For example, a small business owner might present a brand story at a panel discussion or a business event using visuals on a large screen. Move around the stage and interact with the audience to make the story more dynamic. Online platforms. Online storytelling can take many different forms, including webinars, social media posts, website embedding of videos, and blogs. It's crucial to tailor your delivery to the platform's strengths and audience expectations. For example, a business might use a series of Instagram stories to narrate the behind-the-scenes look of a product launch, using a mix of videos, images, and text overlays. Multimedia presentations. Multimedia presentations combine various elements such as video, images, and audio to tell a richer and more immersive story. Ensure that each element complements the other and reinforces the central message. For example, a nonprofit organization might create a multimedia presentation for potential donors, combining a video testimonial, impactful statistics, and emotional music to create a more compelling narrative. Distributing business storytelling across different channels. Distribution is different from delivery, which we covered in the previous section. Because distribution can live online and in places that don't require you to be physically present. Distributed stories can be used across various marketing channels, including social media, content marketing, and sales and advertising, to engage your audience and build a stronger brand presence. Distributing stories for social media platforms. Different social media platforms have unique formats and audience expectations. Tailor your story to fit the platform's style while staying true to your brand's voice. You can do some research online to see what works best for the social media platforms on which you plan to play and distribute your story. Storytelling in content marketing. Content marketing is a digital marketing strategy that involves creating, publishing, and distributing information or entertaining content such as articles, blogs, videos, infographics, social media posts, etc. Here are some common types of content marketing and examples of ways you can incorporate your business stories. Blogging and long-form content. Use your blog to share detailed stories about your brand's journey, customer success stories, or industry insights. Long-form content allows you to delve deeper into a narrative, providing value to your audience while reinforcing your brand message. White papers and ebooks. Create downloadable content that tells a story while educating your audience on a specific topic. This can help you establish your brand as an authority in your industry. Newsletters. Incorporate storytelling into your email newsletters to keep your subscribers engaged. Sharing behind-the-scenes stories, customer testimonials, or upcoming events in a narrative format. Distribution of storytelling in sales. Even in short-form advertisements, storytelling can make a significant impact. Use a clear, concise narrative that quickly engages the viewer and communicates the key message. Let's discuss the types of ads for storytelling. Video ads. Use video to tell a compelling story that showcases your product or service in action. Video ads are particularly effective on platforms like YouTube and other social media. Banner and display ads. While space is limited, a well-crafted tagline or image can tell a story in itself. Focus on visual elements that quickly convey the essence of your narrative. Print ads. Use imagery and concise copy to tell a story that aligns with your visual identity of your brand. Print ads can be used in magazines, newspapers, or billboards. Use storytelling to build trust with potential clients. Sharing success stories, customer testimonials, and case studies can help establish your credibility and demonstrate the value of your product or service. For more information on how to incorporate this into your overall marketing plan, visit MOBI's Marketing and Advanced Digital Marketing sessions. The top 10 do's and don'ts. The top 10 do's. 1. Do define your purpose before crafting your story. 2. Do understand your audience and tailor your story to the specific needs, challenges, and motivations of your target audience. 3. Do craft a clear story. Ensure your story has a clear beginning, middle, and end. 4. Do emphasize authenticity. Be truthful and transparent in your storytelling. 5. Do use emotional connection. Evoke emotions in your audience by sharing relatable stories, showing vulnerability, and highlighting inspiring moments. 6. Do incorporate visual storytelling by using visuals like videos, images, and design elements to enhance your narrative. 7. Do leverage multiple channels and tailor your story to fit the strengths of each platform. 8. Do highlight key characters, whether it's a founder, a customer, or even your brand itself. 9. Do keep it concise. Whether in video or written format, keep your story concise and to the point. 10. Do end your story with a clear call to action. The top 10 don'ts. 1. Don't make it all about you. Ensure your story resonates with your audience by addressing their needs and challenges. 2. Don't ignore your audience's preferences by using a one-size-fits-all approach. 3. Don't overcomplicate the story. 4. Don't be afraid to show vulnerability or share emotional moments that your audience can connect with. 5. Don't use poor quality visuals. Low-resolution images or poorly produced videos can undermine your story's credibility. 6. Don't forget to test your story. Don't assume your story will resonate just because you find it compelling. 7. Don't overload with information. Focus on a few key points that support your central message. 8. Don't be inconsistent with tone, message, or visual elements, which can confuse your audience and weaken your story. 9. Don't neglect follow-up. After distributing your story, don't leave your audience hanging. Engage with them, respond to their feedback, and continue the conversation to build a stronger relationship. 10. Don't skip the emotional and visual elements. Focusing solely on the facts or the message can make your story dry. Congratulations, you've completed this session on business storytelling. We hope you're leaving this session with fresh ideas and the confidence to tell your business story in a powerful way. For additional resources, visit the MOBI Resource Documents page in the Resources and Tools section of the MOBI website. If you're taking this session as a part of a course, don't forget to log in and take your quiz for this session. Feel free to pause now and review or download any of the resources from this session online, or continue with the next session for more information. Good luck!